It's a new day. Yes, it is.
Oh, yo, we're live. You see that?
Oh, yeah,
you see
we're
that?
live?
We're live.
Yeah, I see the little red.
What's up?
Yeah.
This is me. I'm me. You all know me. This is my brother.
Hi everybody.
Yeah.
Benjamin Simon.
Yeah, this is the special Father's Day edition of the show.
All right, keep it in the family.
Yeah, so we're here. Money in the Bank just went down. I'll post a link. I'll have everybody watching this thing. You can send your comments on YouTube. I'll read your comments.
And I will also respond.
Oh, you're going to also respond?
That's right.
That's nice of you.
You're going to know what I think.
That's nice of you to respond.
And if I got a problem with you, you're going to hear about it.
Take it easy.
Just happy to be on the show.
Yeah, that's right. That's the attitude. Just happen to be here. Show some goddamn respect. This is Wrestling Uncensored. It's a Wrestling Uncensored universe out there. We already have some comments. Mike Gives Back says the second half of that was fantastic. I agree.
I do.
I thought the first half of the pay-per-view was pretty slow, pretty weak. Brian and Cass was nothing special. Lashley and Zayn, nothing great. Rollins and Elias was pretty long and not that exciting. 17 minutes Rollins and Elias wrestled. Rollins retaining the Intercontinental Championship there. The women's Money in the Bank ladder match I don't think was great. It was okay. It had a couple moments, but I didn't think it was an amazing match. And then Roman and Jinder wrestled for 15 minutes, which was, I don't have to tell you how bad that was. And, of course, Roman wins with the spear. Carmella beat Asuka when James Ellsworth returned. But then the pay-per-view picked up. We had Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles, the last man standing match. They went 31 minutes. I thought the match was fantastic. AJ retaining after an incredible match with an incredible finish. I thought the finish of that match was so awesome. AJ hitting the phenomenal forearm to the outside through a table on Nakamura. It took a lot to make that spot work. And AJ and Nakamura really made that spot work. And then you had Ronda Rousey and Nia Jax, which was incredible. And then Alexa comes in and steals it. She ends the match and becomes the new women's champion. And then you had the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, which I thought was pretty good, but mostly because of Kevin Owens. I think Kevin Owens, those two bumps he took, of course the one off the ladder, where Braun Strowman threw him off the ladder and he went through all that stuff, and that was it for Kevin Owens. That was really cool, but also the fall-away slam that he took from Rusev on the ladder was really cool. I thought Kevin Owens was the MVP of that Money in the Bank match, and that match was really good. But what was your match of the night? Was it AJ Styles and Nakamura, or was it Ronda Rousey and Nia Jax? What was your match of the night?
I didn't think I'd be saying this at the beginning of the night, but I think it was Ronda versus Nia Jax in the co-main event of the evening, to borrow a phrase from Bruce Buffer. I think it looked like they really rehearsed that match. They had some really well-planned out spots. I really liked the crossbody that Ronda did, like the little look she gave to the turnbuckle, really got the audience into it. There was some really good storytelling there.
Yeah, that was really cool. When Ronda had Nia down and she looks at the turnbuckle and she's like, do I do it? Yeah, let's go. Let's do it. And she went up to the top and hit a perfect crossbody. That match was incredible. We're getting comments here. Mike says the pay-per-view really picked up at the women's ladder match, except the Roman and Jinder match. Yeah, I wasn't overly impressed with the women's ladder match.
I think I enjoyed the women's ladder match a little bit more than you did. I think it had some really solid performances. I think Naomi really brought it. Natalya, I think, had some great spots. Becky Lynch.
Ember Moon and Sasha Banks really brought it for me. I was so impressed with Ember Moon. Every time she steps out there, she seems to impress me more. I'm a big Ember Moon fan. Yeah. I liked her at NXT, but I feel like she's doing even more now on the main roster. She's really standing out. I think Ember is fantastic.
Yeah, I think she could definitely be a future champion. I think she definitely has that potential to have a really good babyface run that a lot of people crossing over from NXT haven't been really able to achieve.
Yeah.
She has that potential.
I think it's a matter of time before Ember becomes a champion in the WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Getting some more comments here. Mike says he liked the outcome of the women's match. Which one are you talking about, Mike? The Carmella match or the Ronda Rousey
Bliss
match.
coming out on top in the end.
I liked the outcome of both matches. I thought the finish of both matches were kind of fun. Antoinette says the women's match was disappointed, but she's drunk, so who knows?
Have a good time.
Antoinette says AJ and Nakamura was her favorite match. Mike says the same thing. What was your match of the night? I would say AJ and Nakamura, but a very close second was Ronda and Nia. I thought their match was incredible. Really impressed with Ronda Rousey, second time out as a professional wrestler, delivering that type of performance. It's really impressive to see. It's Kurt Angle-esque, and a lot of people on Twitter, by the way, you could follow me on Twitter at Dave Simon MMA. A lot of people on Twitter were saying to me, wow, Ronda Rousey, she's like Kurt Angle. And I feel like she is picking up the wrestling part of it like Kurt Angle did. You know, a real athlete, a former Olympian. Angle and Rousey both share that. And they come into pro wrestling, and Angle was like a fish to water with professional wrestling. He took to it. The only thing that Ronda is missing is the promos, which aren't really there yet. Not like Kurt Angle anyways. Angle, I can't really remember if Angle was good at promos right off the bat. I feel like it took a little bit for him to get good, but I don't know if Ronda will ever get to the level of a Kurt Angle as far as the talking goes in wrestling. Yeah. But her wrestling, the actual in-ring action, fantastic. Fantastic stuff. And I was really impressed here, even more than her match at WrestleMania, because, you know, the match at WrestleMania, you had Stephanie McMahon, who is seasoned, you know, not a seasoned wrestler necessarily, but she's been in the WWE as a performer for a very long time. Triple H and Kurt Angle are two of the all-time greats. So Ronda had a lot of people there to kind of help her along in that match. Here, this was Ronda and Nia Jax. And this was Nia Jax's best match.
Yeah, a lot of pressure on Nia Jax tonight to, like, deliver. I mean, she's technically the veteran in this match, and she's still pretty green in some spots, but she didn't look sloppy out there. You know, we're not big Nia Jax fans.
No, but she looked rough.
Due.
She looked rough. Nia in that match looked like she was able to really give stuff to Ronda that she wouldn't have been able to lay in as much with anybody else. I feel like Nia was laying in her stuff extra tight because she's in there with Ronda and she knows Ronda can take it. Nia is not going to be as intense, as rough with Alexa Bliss going forward as she was with Ronda Rousey tonight. Right? Getting some comments here. Mike says Nia really delivered. He was very surprised. Antoinette says she saw some botches. You talking about the Ronda match? You saw botches? Maybe here and there. It's, you know, there were a couple moments where it was like a little shaky, but overall I thought Nia delivered and Ronda really did.
That powerbomb was pretty nasty, and the way Ronda like rolled out of the ring afterwards, and you couldn't tell if it was because she really was in like no man's land, you know?
That powerbomb was sick.
That was great selling if that was selling.
That was nasty. When Ronda took the powerbomb from Nia, boom, lands hard in the ring, and then Ronda falling out of the ring afterwards, the bump that Ronda took was just fantastic. Yeah. Beautiful stuff.
I agree there. JJ Mondesi, the judo throw almost killed Nia. Also, Ronda, like the momentum from that judo throw, like throwing Ronda across the ring, also was just a great piece of television right there.
Yeah. Take it easy, though. I read the comments around here.
Well, I can't read the comments.
It's my show. It's my show.
I apologize.
This is what happens. We're going to start fighting on this show.
See what happens.
See what happens? You see what happens? When you read the comments, you get attacked. That's how it works on Wrestling Uncensored. He's new. He doesn't know the rules. Yeah, but the judo throw was awesome, right? I'm going to judo throw you in a minute.
All right, fine.
No, you can read the comments. It's okay. I'm kidding around. Who is my co-host? Missed it. It's my brother. Franco wants to know. Yeah, Antoinette says Dave's show. That's right. Antoinette knows the rules. It's my show. I do the same to Johnny. I do the same to Green Phantom. I do the same to Fred. And the same to Anthony. I take over. My show. Anthony knows. Where's AJ tonight? I know Johnny North and Green Phantom were watching the Money in the Bank show together.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Pretty good. A little What's Phantom in Japan and Wrestling Uncensored connection going on tonight.
Big crossover.
Big shout out to the big man Johnny North. Let's say positive things about Johnny North. He's a great wrestler.
Great wrestler.
He's in great shape.
Yeah.
You know, he's very cool. He looks like a young Bret Hart.
Very friendly guy.
Very friendly guy. Just a fantastic guy all over. Okay, you know. Because John gets mad when we talk about him, but we don't like put him over real strong.
I always try to put over John.
And I know John is going to be watching, so we got to put him over real strong.
What's up, big man?
Big Johnny will be back with me this week. JJ Mondesi says he usually shares views with me, but he disagrees with me on Seth and Elias. He says that match was better than he ever could have thought. I'm not a big fan of Seth Rollins or Elias. I know a lot of people love Seth Rollins, and that's fine. You know, I'm not going to spend a lot of time praising Seth Rollins for his great work. I don't think he does anything that's unique, you know? And I think that's the best way to put it. I think Seth is really he's athletic, and he does a lot of things correctly, but I don't feel like Seth brings anything new to the table, anything different than a lot of other guys bring to a higher degree. You know, I feel like Finn Balor is a better version of Seth Rollins, so I don't really need to see Seth Rollins in these elevated roles when, well, here's Finn Balor over there who's quite a bit better at everything that Seth does. I just feel like Seth is good, but a lot of guys are good. You know, I want to see somebody that's great.
And Elias is not good.
Yeah, Elias
is very boring, incredibly bland. And also, Seth and Elias look very similar. Like, when they both have their hair over their face and in a grapple, I have trouble telling who is who.
Yeah, they look very similar.
And it was a long match, and I couldn't tell who was in control.
We had a question here. Mike wants to know, was Ronda falling out of the ring a botch? I don't think so. I think she meant to do that.
Yeah, and that was a very skilled piece of selling.
It was sweet.
Because I was fooled.
Yeah. It was really nice. And Mike also says, I hope this has silenced the Ronda haters. It should. I mean, the match at Mania was fantastic. The match tonight was fantastic. But then again, next time you see her in the ring cutting a promo, if it's super awkward, people are going to comment on it. People are going to say, hey, that was not a good promo. It's just the way it is. You're judged on your last performance. That's why I'd like to see Ronda wrestle more often so people can only talk about how good Ronda is in the ring and talk less about how awkward she is on a microphone.
Yeah, she should wrestle on Raw tomorrow.
That would be awesome.
But we probably won't see her again until SummerSlam, which is probably why Alexa Bliss wound up winning the championship in the end, so they could reshift the focus of the women's storyline back to Nia and Alexa. Ronda takes a back seat, and we'll see her at SummerSlam in another attraction match, maybe not even for the championship.
Totally.
Maybe a triple threat.
Yeah, I don't think Ronda wrestles again till August. Yeah. The WWE's next pay-per-view is Extreme Rules. It'll take place on July the 15th in Pittsburgh. And after that, we do have SummerSlam that'll take place, I don't know the exact date here, August sometime in Brooklyn. So I think that's the next time we see Ronda Rousey wrestle. And in the meantime, we're going to have this little Nia Jax Alexa Bliss program. I think it'll be Nia and Alexa one-on-one at Extreme Rules.
Yeah, in some sort of gimmick match.
It's unfortunate because I'd like to see Ronda wrestle more often, but I feel like Ronda has maybe already wrestled more matches in 2018 than the Universal Champion.
Oh,
is that possible?
Likely. Like Brock?
Well, maybe not.
Brock worked Rumble?
He worked
Braun?
He worked the Rumble, he worked the Greatest Rumble, and he worked Mania.
Yeah, he didn't do anything in between. So
I think that's about it for Brock, right?
So one more match to tie Brock.
Ronda's definitely made more Raw appearances than Brock has this year. That's for sure.
Jinx.
Where's Brock? Braun Strowman is the Money in the Bank winner. Braun Strowman has a briefcase that guarantees him a shot at Brock. Where's Brock? Do we see Brock at SummerSlam? Do we see Brock at Extreme Rules? I was surprised to see Braun Strowman win Money in the Bank tonight. I was really surprised.
Yeah, it felt like at the end, like I was kind of hoping Kofi Kingston would kind of sneak it out, you know, in a creative way.
Yeah, I thought Miz was going to win. I'm happy that he didn't because Miz and AJ Styles just doesn't excite me as a main event feud. I thought that if Miz didn't win, it was going to be Samoa Joe. So I'm pretty surprised that Braun Strowman wound up winning. I guess we shouldn't be surprised because Braun Strowman is one of the top guys in WWE, one of the most pushed guys. But when we're hearing we're not going to see Brock Lesnar until maybe September, October, November, it's a little surprising that Braun Strowman now has a ticket in his hands that he's going to walk out with every week for a shot at Brock Lesnar. You would think if you're Braun Strowman, you'd walk out on Raw tomorrow night and say, I want Brock right now. And if Brock's not going to be in the building, say, I want Brock next week. You would think that Braun Strowman would want Brock Lesnar as soon as possible. So I know that the rumor was Brock wasn't going to show up until not even SummerSlam, but maybe he shows up at Extreme Rules instead. I feel like Braun Strowman is going to want to get his hands on Brock Lesnar, right? He's going to want Brock to get these hands as soon as possible. So I don't really know how they book their way around Braun Strowman not challenging Brock for July at Extreme Rules. And if Ronda's not going to be performing till August, you need a selling point for Extreme Rules. Why not Brock Lesnar? I think Brock has to show up. I mean, it's enough with this Brock stuff. Where's Brock?
Well, I think Vince keeps Brock business pretty close to the chest. Like, he really doesn't let people know.
That's it. Nobody knows what Brock's deal is. People are saying Brock's contract could run out at SummerSlam. I saw Antoinette. She just posted that in the comments. And look, if Brock's deal is up by SummerSlam, don't have him work SummerSlam. Have him work Extreme Rules, have him drop the belt to Braun, and have him go to the UFC or do whatever the hell he wants to do, and we move on.
Yeah, and just end it there and start the Braun Strowman era. You know, he's still a monster on top. You know, he can still book similar matches as if it was Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
But it's just a guy who's there every week.
And eventually Roman takes it. You know, eventually Roman takes the title. That Roman Jinder match, by the way, maybe the lowest point on the card. That was not good.
That was a real snoozer.
And it took so long to finish. It just went on and on and on. That match was 15 minutes, and it felt like 3 hours. It was just rough. It was rough to watch. Checking out some of these comments here. What's next for Nakamura? I'm done with this feud, says JJ Mondesi. I don't know. I do feel like him and AJ is done. That felt like a good end. But we were talking about it before. I think Nakamura and Jeff Hardy is unfinished business. If you saw SmackDown this week, Jeff was looking like he was going to beat Nakamura, and then Nakamura hit him low in the groin and hit him with the knee to the face. I think Nakamura for the United States Championship is probably next. And I am not mad at seeing Nakamura move on to a feud with Jeff Hardy. I think that would be money. And if you believe the rumors that Jeff Hardy is hurt, you know, maybe they give the U.S. title to Nakamura sooner rather than later. Like, I could see it happening on a SmackDown or maybe even at the next pay-per-view Extreme Rules. But I think Nakamura and Jeff Hardy makes the most sense. What I'm more curious about is AJ Styles. Like, who is the next challenger for the WWE Championship?
That's a very good question. How many top-level heels are there right now?
I think on SmackDown you got a couple. I think you got Samoa Joe. Unfortunately, you also have The Miz. But I feel like right now Joe is probably next, and Miz goes on to do this thing with Daniel Bryan. I mean, they've been teasing this Miz-Daniel Bryan feud forever, and I'm done with Daniel Bryan and Big Cass. I mean, he beats him again on pay-per-view tonight. It's over with Daniel Bryan and Big Cass. I feel like it's now Daniel Bryan and Miz going forward. Extreme Rules, maybe SummerSlam 2, maybe the September pay-per-view, and then you're done. Then you move on.
Yeah, I can see that. That could be a big attraction for SummerSlam, be one of the hour main events.
I think Samoa Joe is the next challenger for AJ Styles. Big Mike gives back, says Cass needs to go away. Yeah. I agree. I hope he does go away. I don't know if he will.
Probably start tag
Mike
teaming
says
somebody.
also he's done with Brock, so he's done with Cass and done with Brock. I am too. JJ Mondesi says, disappointed that the rest of New Day stayed backstage. They should have been ringside, not cheating, but really, you know, cheating, helping Kofi win. Yeah, like, there's anything, there's no rules to this match. Anything goes. Yeah. It's a 3-man group.
James Ellsworth grabbed a briefcase last year for somebody.
Exactly. So James Ellsworth grabbed the case for Carmella last year. Why couldn't you put New Day ringside to help Kofi. Well, I guess because Kofi wasn't planned to win, that's why New Day wasn't ringside.
It really felt like, though, they came out last, they had a big Kofi thing, and the crowd was really into it, and they're like, yeah. It was like they all realized, yeah, Kofi Kingston, he should be the winner.
Yeah.
And they're all just going, Kofi, like throughout the match, and it just kind of felt like, the tides are turning.
When they announced that it was Kofi, the crowd popped like crazy. They wanted to see Kofi win.
I want to see Kofi win. I'm glad it's not The Miz, though.
Deletion of the Undead. I like that name. That's a good name. He says WWE should do a pay-per-view with the best wrestler in WWE versus best wrestler from New Japan.
I think Triple H said in an interview, he's like, I'm open to New Japan. Kenny Omega.
Kenny Omega.
The Young Bucks.
No, he didn't say that. He said he's open to working with other promotions.
Oh.
Like, small UK promotions and stuff like that. He never said anything about New Japan. Oh. That's fake news. You got sucked into the fake news. Oh. I'm really disappointed in you. You're getting sucked into the wrestling fake news. I mean, that's really easy to see through. But Triple H never said anything about working with New Japan. Oh. WWE is not planning on working with New Japan. New Japan is a competition. And by the way, New Japan's winning. Well, not financially, but as far as in-ring product, Dominion destroys Money in the Bank. Dominion was 100 times better than Money in the Bank. I'd still say Money in the Bank was pretty good. I'd give it a 7 on 10. What do you guys rank it? On a 10 scale. What do you give it? I give it a 7 on 10. I thought it was a solid effort.
Yeah, a 6. I'd say give it a solid 6.
Solid 6.
I wasn't as crazy about AJ Nakamura as a lot of people seem to be. I thought the ending was better. I thought it kind of dragged a bit at the beginning. But it was a solid pay-per-view.
Antoinette says, Big Cass can wrestle Jinder.
Who wants to see that?
And then JJ Mondesi says, in a death match, literally. I think they want, I don't condone that. I don't want anybody dying here, but I would like them to wrestle in a loser leaves town match. How about that? Whatever happened to that? Loser leaves town, Jinder versus Big Cass, and the loser actually has to, go back to NXT or something. Triple H was actually talking about guys going back to NXT and how that could help NXT. I think if anybody needs to go back to NXT, it's Big Cass.
Yeah.
He doesn't really fit on SmackDown right now. What's he going to do?
Be a tag team with Jinder.
Yeah, I guess he could be in a tag team with Jinder, but who wants to see that? Plus, the SmackDown tag division is already stacked as it is. There's no room for them. I think Big Cass should go back down to NXT and be Aleister Black's next challenger.
Yeah, or it could be a tag team partner for Lars Sullivan, two big brutes,
Mike Gives Back says NXT TakeOver was unreal. Not a single weak spot. I thought it was a very good show last night, too. I really enjoyed the show. I thought Ricochet and Velveteen Dream was incredible. Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano had a really good match, too, in the main event.
Tag team match is pretty good.
Yeah.
That.
Aleister Black and Lars Sullivan I thought was really good, too. I liked the Shayna Baszler, Nikki Cross match. Everything was good on NXT. It was a very good show. It was very good. People were saying that NXT is better than the main roster, and you wouldn't be wrong as far as in-ring product. Definitely.
They're given more freedom.
JJ Mondesi says NXT is so much better because they don't protect wrestlers so much. Champions actually win and get promoted. Yeah, I think NXT, it's a more wrestling-based product, In NXT, they're trying to make sure that you're a very good in-ring talent before you can move up to the main roster. And that's why I think a lot of NXT talents get lost in the shuffle when they move up to the main roster, because they may be good in-ring talents, but they don't really have that character. They don't have that ability to connect with the audience. And, you look at that Ricochet and Velveteen Dream match, I think is a perfect example. Ricochet is a more seasoned professional than Velveteen Dream. He's been in the business longer. His in-ring skill is superior. But the Velveteen Dream character is way more developed than Ricochet. What is Ricochet? He's a guy that does flips. What is Velveteen Dream? Well, there's a lot there. There's a real depth of character, and that's why I think even though Ricochet may be the better wrestler, Velveteen Dream will have more success when he goes up to the main roster. NXT, they do something, but it's not like they fully develop WWE talent. You still have to, just because you do well in NXT, you still have to evolve and change and really have a solid character to do well on the main roster. It's a different type of animal. Also, they're not on tour as much as the main roster is, so they can wrestle these hard-hitting matches and not have to go out and wrestle the next day. Like, the guys that wrestled for NXT last night are not wrestling today. The guys that wrestled at Money in the Bank tonight will have to wrestle tomorrow night on Raw. It's a big difference when you get that break to rest your body, when you can wrestle fewer times a month in NXT compared to the main roster. Well, you're damn right you better do more in your matches because you're not out there that much.
Yeah,
you better give up your body.
And the travel schedule is a lot easier, too. Like, when you're doing house shows, you're not going across the country. You're staying in Florida most of the time. So it's pretty easy for them, for the NXT talent.
Yeah, that's
they
it.
can rest easier.
It's a way easier schedule to be an NXT wrestler, and that lends itself to why the matches are so good. Also, I mean, on the main roster, there is some complacency there. There's not a lot of motivation to give all of yourself in these matches. And I say that, you have a lot of older guys on the main roster, guys in their 40s that have maybe proven themselves already, whereas in NXT, it's a whole roster of people trying to prove themselves to get to that next level. In the WWE, they're already at that next level. You kind of compare it to college basketball and the NBA. You watch college basketball, it's a more intense game. Like, they're really, like, they're trying harder almost. And I feel like NXT is a lot like that. Like, they're trying really hard to impress as well so that they can get that next shot, because the difference in pay between NXT and the main roster, it's huge.
They're trying to impress scouts.
And you're also given more time in NXT. It's a different animal.
And also on the main roster, there's Vince. If Vince doesn't know what to do with you, you're lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what you could do in the ring.
Antoinette says Triple H is doing a great job, and she says Gargano and Ciampa was match of the year. In NXT, yeah, it may have been. It may have been. It was very, very good. Yeah. And Mike says he worries about Velveteen Dream on the main roster, likens him to Tyler Breeze, and you can definitely worry about that. You can worry about anybody in NXT. Any of your favorite NXT stars are never a lock to do well on the main roster. Never, ever, ever. No matter how well you do in NXT, it does not mean you're going to do that well on the main roster. I mean, look at Nakamura. Yeah, he's been main evented. He won the Royal Rumble, but he still hasn't been champion. Look at Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn was a main eventer his whole time in NXT. He was NXT champion. What's he really done in the WWE? Has he won a championship? Has he won a single title?
I mean,
no, he is
not.
Not
even a tag team title.
Not a tag team title, not a U.S. title, nothing. Nothing.
But,
Sami Zayn was jobbed out to Bobby Lashley tonight at Money in the Bank. Yeah. The Sami Zayn you saw tonight getting jobbed out by Bobby Lashley was not the same Sami Zayn that was in NXT. The character was similar, and, it's the same guy, but the push is totally different. The way they presented him in NXT as a main event level star compared to the way they present him in the WWE, it's a completely different deal. It's disappointing, too, because, the WWE made me not care about the Sami Zayn match tonight. And I'm supposed to care about Sami Zayn. He's one of the most talented wrestlers on the roster. But that Bobby Lashley-Sami Zayn match, like, they had this whole feud. They do all these promos, and then the match tonight, like, not much of a match. Lashley beats Sami Zayn in 6 minutes, 35 seconds. It was a glorified squash match. Lashley getting most of the offense, just getting revenge on Sami Zayn. Sami got his comeuppance for all that stuff he did to Bobby Lashley, and it's like, yeah, is this it for Sami?
And it didn't work either. The crowd was clearly on Sami's side. They were cheering for him the whole match. It seemed, I don't know if they were exactly booing Bobby, but the crowds wanted Sami Zayn to at least get some over. I don't think they really liked it. So it didn't really succeed in getting Bobby Lashley over. Just made him a bit more of a heel and puts his debut off to a rocky start. His comeback. It hasn't been going well.
No, people are not liking Bobby Lashley.
He's not a contender for Brock Lesnar at all.
Well, like I said, with Bobby Lashley, I said it on Wrestling Uncensored, his gimmick that worked in TNA was a MMA fighter type of Brock Lesnar gimmick. He was basically the Brock Lesnar of TNA, but you can't do that gimmick when you come over to the WWE because A, Brock's doing it, and B, Ronda's doing it. So Bobby Lashley, you're not the MMA guy in the WWE because unfortunately for Bobby Lashley, you were never in the UFC. You were never a UFC heavyweight champion like Brock, so people aren't into it, JJ Mondesi says, what is Lashley supposed to be? I have no idea. I don't know. He's a big, strong guy who was in the Army who has sisters. That's the current Bobby Lashley character. He's a guy who posts motivational quotes on Instagram, and he has sisters, and he's big and muscular, and he was in the Army. Yeah. That's it.
He's an inspiration to everybody. He's the kind of person. He's the role model.
He's boring.
He should be a heel. He's like Kurt Angle when he came in, the role model, all-American, good guy. But that's the guy that people like to boo now.
It's not working.
You can't really push that guy. It's the guy who is the overcoming hero because he's already overcome.
It's boring.
Yeah.
Bobby Lashley's boring in the WWE right now, and that match with Sami Zayn was nothing special, and I really don't know where you go with either of them at this moment.
Bobby Lashley probably feud with Jinder Mahal or something. I don't know why we keep throwing Jinder out because he's just this jobber to the stars, I guess.
Yeah, maybe Lashley and Jinder is next because...
Although Roman and Jinder might have some unfinished business.
What happens with Roman now? I mean, Roman and Jinder are done, right? Like, I don't care to see these guys wrestle ever again. I thought their match tonight was not good. And Roman Reigns, this is a big pay-per-view that doesn't revolve around Roman Reigns. It feels kind of weird. Like, most of these WWE shows are all about Roman, but tonight, he had this match with Jinder, and then that's it. But you got to figure something big is coming next for Roman.
We'll just have him and Braun go at it some more. I'm not finished with you. Maybe Roman wants to challenge for Braun's briefcase, because he wants to shot at Brock.
Do you think we see Brock at Extreme Rules?
No. I don't think so. I thought SummerSlam, but you're saying no? He's not showing up at SummerSlam?
I don't know. The rumor is he's not, but who knows right now.
Yeah.
So I said the pay-per-view was like a 7 out of 10. You gave it a 6 out of 10.
Pretty much the same.
Seeing Mike, he says 7 out of 10. Antoinette says a 6. Lee J. Robinson says 5.8. So he's not quite giving it a 6 on 10. He's giving it 5.8 on 10. I like that.
Interesting scale.
Antoinette says she wants to see Brock at SummerSlam. I do too. But I want to see it at Extreme Rules, really. I don't want to wait.
I want to see Brock tomorrow on Raw.
Yeah, come on, Brock.
Where's Paul Heyman? Where's Paul Heyman?
What's next for Daniel Bryan?
Well, are we saying The Miz? Start a program with The Miz?
Is that what we do now with Daniel Bryan? That makes sense. That match with Big Cass was like nothing.
Yeah.
I don't really need to see Big Cass anymore.
I thought Big Cass was going to win tonight.
Didn't we say Big Cass was going to wrestle Jinder?
Oh, they're on different brands.
They're on different brands, right?
Yeah.
So Big Cass should wrestle who next?
Who cares?
Doesn't matter? Doesn't matter? Bobby Roode. How about Bobby Roode and Big Cass in a feud
on
next?
Raw also.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
They used to be on SmackDown. Where's Randy?
Yeah,
Big Cass and Randy. That's a feud. That's money.
That's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's probably going to happen.
But
surgery, Daniel Bryan and The Miz, I think it's about time they start this. Like, Daniel Bryan wants to beat up The Miz. Let's go. Let's get to it.
Let's get some fantasy warfare out there.
And we said AJ Styles against Samoa Joe would make sense next, right?
Maybe Big Cass and Rusev will feud.
How about Seth Rollins, who challenges him next for the Intercontinental Championship?
I think him and Elias are going to keep going.
It's not over?
This is their first match. They're probably going to have like 2 or 3 of these. They want to push Elias. They give this guy like 15 minutes every Monday for Raw, to sit there and do nothing.
They do give Elias
the promo at the beginning of the night was god-awful.
Man, they give him way too much promo time.
He just goes like, get ready, everybody, sit down, shut up, and then he just goes, no, I'm not going to play tonight. Like, it's not good heat. It's just a waste of the audience's time.
Mike says Mike here on the comments says he wants to see Daniel Bryan and Joe. They have unfinished business. You're like, I'm not opposed to that either, but then who takes on AJ Styles? The Miz? Like, I feel like Miz and Daniel Bryan is going to happen eventually. Like, why not just get to it? Leading into SummerSlam. You do it at Extreme Rules. You do the rematch at SummerSlam. Makes sense to me.
Or you even have them do like some kind of mirror feuds or something, and then like, Miz interferes in Bryan's match at Extreme Rules or something.
Yeah.
And then they build up for SummerSlam, If
Mike says Elias and Seth definitely not over. I agree. Yeah. Not over with me.
I think their
feud's
not
JJ
over
Mondesi agrees. He says wrap up D. Bryan Miz by SummerSlam. I'm with that. Just start it now and let's go. Get it over with by SummerSlam. Let's start Daniel Bryan on the train to the WWE Championship.
I feel like if it's going to be a feud with The Miz, they're going to probably keep it going to when's Hell in a Cell, October?
Oh, come on, man. What are you talking about?
Sometimes
what are you, Johnny North? What are you, Johnny North?
To October,
Pissing me off on the show now with these long Miz
I love
feuds.
You, brother.
Terrible. So Alexa Bliss becomes the new Raw Women's Champion tonight. That was a pretty cool move. She wins the Money in the Bank. Then she attacks Ronda Rousey and Nia Jax. She becomes the new Raw Women's Champion. She cashes in on Nia after hitting Nia and Ronda several times with the briefcase. I was wondering, why is she hitting Ronda with the briefcase so much? And I'm like, oh, yeah, because she doesn't want Ronda to get up and then, stop her match there with Nia. So Alexa Bliss is the new Raw Women's Champion, and I think that's the only title change we had. Carmella retained the SmackDown Women's title by beating Asuka with some help from James Ellsworth, who returned, which, that was a big rumor out there that Ellsworth was coming back to the WWE, and that came true. Ellsworth was dressed as Asuka, and Asuka was confused, and then she turns around, gets kicked in the head by Carmella, and goes down 1, 2, 3. So Carmella, the second person to pin Asuka. Well, I guess... No, she's the first person to pin Asuka in the WWE because Charlotte Flair made her tap out, and then in that other match that she lost with Becky Lynch against the Iconics, the tag match, Asuka wasn't involved in the finish. Becky got pinned in that match. So Carmella tonight becomes the first person to pin Asuka in the WWE.
History's been made. They didn't even acknowledge that, I don't think.
That's incredible. Yeah, because I think they were thinking, it's the first person to beat Asuka, but I'm sure they'll clue in. Carmella is the only person to have pinned Asuka in the WWE. That's saying something. That shows you, man, the Asuka train is not going so well.
I couldn't understand why Asuka would be so frightened of James Ellsworth. She was standing like she wronged, like she attacked James Ellsworth before he sit back for revenge or something. She should just attack and be like, you're nothing to me.
Yeah, kick him in the head and move on.
That's
why
what
does
he's
she
there
care?
for.
Yeah, it was very odd.
And is he back now? Is he have a contract for a few months again?
Who cares?
Well, I don't know. There's a certain segment of the audience that seems to really like this guy.
I don't care.
They look like him.
I don't care.
Damn, he's ugly.
Yeah, I think he got uglier.
I don't know, just weird things.
God, he's really ugly. Just terrible looking. Yeah, JJ Mondesi says, what was that Asuka crap? She stared at him for a full 60 seconds. But he also says Mella is money. Mella, I guess, is kind of money, I guess.
Yeah, it's just some loose change.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think it's obviously not over between Asuka and Carmella, and I believe Asuka will eventually take the title from Carmella. I think Asuka is not going to walk away from this feud like Shinsuke Nakamura empty-handed. Shinsuke has now challenged for the WWE Championship twice. He had a feud with Jinder Mahal, or 2 different programs, right? I mean, he's challenged for it several times, but he had the feud with Jinder Mahal and now the feud with AJ Styles, both for the WWE Championship. And it doesn't seem like he's going to win the title anytime soon. I think we're done with AJ and Shinsuke. And once again, a program with Shinsuke for the title where he does not win. Little disappointing. But I think Asuka will win the SmackDown Women's Championship from Carmella. She didn't do it tonight, but I think it's an eventuality.
Yeah, I think so too. By SummerSlam at the latest.
Deletion of the Undead says Kevin Owens is so good, makes me mad. WWE won't push him. He's a top-level guy. I agree 100%. Kevin Owens did something that we have not really seen him do in the WWE, and that is take a huge fall. That was a Jeff Hardy-esque...
20 feet?
Yeah, at least 20 feet, I would say, up in the air, off the ladder, through that thing they had set up with tables and so on. That was a crazy bump from Kevin Owens. Performance of that Money in the Bank for sure goes to KO. He's amazing, and he realizes, like, there's a lot of competition on Raw. You know, there's Braun Strowman, there's Roman Reigns, there's Seth Rollins, there's Finn Balor. This is a big moment. This is a big match. This is an opportunity to steal the show and to distance yourself from everybody else. And when Kevin Owens is willing to sacrifice his body like that, when he's willing to make a moment like that, you can't help but notice him. The WWE management can't help but notice him and treat him well. Like, Kevin Owens is just gaining favor and gaining points by doing something like that. I hope he's okay. I hope his body can stand it. I think it can. He's an extremely tough guy. I've seen him do crazy stuff in and out of the WWE. But that tonight was a real moment. As far as moments of this show, like times that you are going to remember from Money in the Bank 2018, I think the one thing, or maybe two things you walk away from, one would be that Kevin Owens bump, and two would be the Ronda Rousey match. You know, I think AJ and Shinsuke definitely was the match of the night as far as match quality, but I think the most memorable match from this show will be Ronda and Nia, and then the most memorable moment of this card is Kevin Owens falling off that ladder. Like, that's a highlight for the WWE to play over and over again. Anytime you talk about Money in the Bank going forward, anytime you talk about a ladder match going forward, and you're doing a promo video, you show that Kevin Owens fall. That was a legendary fall he took tonight.
Yeah. Although I was kind of hoping that he was going to originally do the, seemed like a frog splash from that kind of height too, like through a table, that also would be in a highlight package. His fall will be more in the don't try this at home or anywhere video packages more.
Whatever. It was awesome.
But yeah, it was still cool.
Antoinette says Kevin Owens has the best
out there.
Kevin Owens has the best mic skills. He should have won. You know, seeing that it was a guy from Raw winning, it was Braun Strowman winning, I would have preferred, if you're going to give it to a Raw guy, give it to Kevin Owens. Like, I agree with that. Like, I want to see Kevin Owens be the top guy, but I guess it makes more sense for the monster Braun Strowman to face the monster Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense. And Michael Cole really relished in saying the monster in the bank.
Yeah.
I'm sure Vince really...
They had that set for a while.
Yeah.
JJ Mondesi says, doesn't seem like they want Kevin Owens to wear the belt, but he's getting the most TV time after Braun on Raw. And that is true. Like, it doesn't seem like they're putting him up at the top level. They're not giving him the Universal title back just yet, but he is featured quite heavily on Raw, and that's good. I mean, if you're a Kevin Owens fan, what you're hoping for is big moments, big matches, and just seeing Kevin Owens a lot. And we saw him a lot tonight. He was the MVP of that Money in the Bank ladder match. We see him a lot on Raw. He's main eventing. He's having good matches. He's cutting good promos. He's doing backstage segments. Kevin Owens is doing well right now in the WWE. And you shouldn't get too down. As far as Sami Zayn, Antoinette says, what's next for him? I don't know what's next for him. I tell you, I'd like to see him challenge Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental Championship. I think those two would have some incredible matches, and I'd like to see Sami become Intercontinental Champion eventually.
Yeah, that'd be great, but I don't know if that's really in the cards. I don't think they didn't really make Sami look very credible tonight against Bobby Lashley, so I don't think they'll really want to put him in a program with Seth Rollins where he looks like a credible threat.
Maybe not.
No.
Maybe not. But, you know, it's something I'd like to see. It's something I'd like to see anyways.
That'd be the highest quality, but I don't know, judging by what they showed tonight, that I don't think that's what's in the plans right now.
We're going to wrap this thing up. We're, we've been going on for a while.
It's a long show.
It's getting late here. It was a 4-hour pay-per-view. I guess that's what the deal is at WWE now, 4-hour pay-per-views. It's a bit much for me, though. It's a little bit much. If you guys have any final comments or questions you want to throw out there, throw them out in the next minute or two because we are wrapping this sucker up. We'll read some final comments here. JJ Mondesi says his moment of the night was when Corey Graves asked Coachman why he's still employed when Coach said that Ronda in a bear hug favored Ronda. I missed that. But Coach is terrible. Corey Graves is terrible.
Michael Cole is terrible.
The only announced team in all of professional wrestling that's any good is Kevin Kelly and Don Callis, who do the New Japan Pro Wrestling. They are very good. I actually enjoy listening to their commentary, but they are the only commentary team in all of professional wrestling that I actually like listening to. The WWE guys are all brutal.
You don't like Nigel McGuinness? I mean, he doesn't say much, but
no,
it's not bad.
Like, he's not good, though.
No, Percy Watson's not that great either.
Percy Watson's not good. Nigel McGuinness and, like... And here's a Mike who says Morrow and Nigel in NXT.
Morrow's Morrow.
Like, Morrow, he does his thing, and Morrow is, like, he's pretty good. But, like, I don't know. He's not my favorite. I prefer Kevin Kelly and Don Callis. I think they're way better. Morrow's good, but he's like a little too over the top for me.
Mamma mia.
Yeah, it's like a little too much. It's a little like too many pop culture references just kind of crowbarred in there.
Bradshaw did that too.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like organic. It just feels like, okay, I have these 5 pop culture references that I'm going to try and stick into this show, and it's like, it's a little bit much.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't like it.
Yeah, it's like, how do you do, fellow kids kind of thing.
We got JJ saying Vampiro on Lucha Underground is good. I don't know. I haven't heard him, but I'm sure he's good. Vampiro's crazy.
Yeah. Is he from here? Or from?
He's Canadian.
He's Canadian.
He used to train at Gamma. The Gamma Gym. MontrealMartialArts.com. All right? This show brought to you by the Gamma Gym. How about that? We just did a promo. Big shout out to you, Phil. We love you.
Much respect.
All right, that's the show. That's the show for tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed WWE Money in the Bank as best as we could. I hope you guys enjoyed the post show that we just did. I want to thank my brother for joining me, for stepping in for Johnny North here tonight. And thanks, everybody, for commenting and watching. I will be back, of course, Friday afternoon here live on YouTube for the Wrestling Uncensored pre-show, and then Johnny North and I back, of course, on the weekend for the next episode of Wrestling Uncensored. Thank you to JJ, Mondesi. Thank you to Mike Gives Back, Antoinette, as always, Deletion of the Undead, Lee J. Robinson, my man that we always talk, Lee J. Franco, who was with us on Twitter tonight. Just big shout out to everybody watching and following along tonight on Twitter as well. Where was Wally Byrne tonight, though? My man out in Ireland. I did not hear from you, Wally, and I know you're going to be listening to this show or watching it later, so just know that you were missed. Also, my man Andy out in England. I did not hear from you guys. I guess, the 5 a.m. show, staying up till 5 a.m. Their time was not worth it for Money in the Bank, which I understand. Our European wrestling fans have it very tough, but just know I was thinking of you guys, Wally out in Ireland, and Andy out in England, my boys from way back. Andy has been with us since day one of Wrestling Uncensored, and we're coming up on episode 400, so we always appreciate the support from everybody. Buona notte, as our boy Franco is telling us. Good night to everybody. Thanks for watching the Wrestling Uncensored Money in the Bank post-show extravaganza.